Well, good evening. My name is Doug Oakley, and right at the start here, we want to thank Liesl for playing beautifully on the harp. Thank you, Liesl. Could you please stand? I'd like to start today's proceedings by acknowledging that the land we meet on today is the traditional lands for the Kaurna people, and we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the Adelaide region, and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. Please be seated. I'd also like to acknowledge the family and friends of donors who were not able to be with us this year in Bonython Hall, but who are watching the service via live stream. Thank you for your attendance in this way. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health and Medical Science, Professor Benjamin Kyle. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Distinguished guests, families and friends of donors, students, and other members of the university community, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the three universities of South Australia, Flinders University, University of South Australia, and of course the University of Adelaide, I welcome you to this special annual memorial and dedication service, which is now in its 24th year. It's an honour to speak to you today on what is a very solemn and very moving, I think you'll find, occasion. In particular, I'd like to welcome family and friends viewing online, the family and friends of those most remarkable individuals who've bequeathed their bodies to medical science, and it's those people we are remembering today. We acknowledge that this service may be difficult for some of you, but we hope that in some small way, as we acknowledge the memory of loved ones, it brings comfort to know how their extraordinary gift is honoured and very much valued. The teaching of human anatomy remains a key part of the training of young doctors, nurses, dentists, physiotherapists and other allied health professionals and scientists. The body donation program here at the University of Adelaide is an essential part of anatomy teaching at this university, the other universities in South Australia and at institutions across the country, and it's widely recognised as one of the best of its kind in Australia. Through their donation, our donors have provided an invaluable opportunity to the young South Australians, many of whom are here today, who are taking their first steps toward becoming the next generation of medical and healthcare professionals and medical and health researchers. The men and the women who have chosen in life to give so generously of their bodies after death are as much teachers of this next generation as any of our academics, myself included, and will live on through the contribution they've made. To all the students here today, as new students, you are invited to this service because you have now joined an academy that is bound by trust, goodwill, and also accountability. You are just taking the first steps on the path to a career in which you'll have an enormous impact on people's lives and be able to change those lives for the better, which is a remarkable privilege. But it will only be possible because of the people we remember at this service, the donors and the gift that they have made to the community. As part of your training, you pledge to be completely transparent in your studies. You pledge to be empathetic, compassionate, and respectful. And you pledge to always recognise the rare privilege it is to serve humanity, not just through your education, but your future work. I hope that this service and the message it carries will remain with you during your university days and long beyond that into your working life. Our donors have shown unparalleled trust in us and in our capacity to make a difference, your capacity to make a difference, and we must protect and cherish the faith they have placed in us. So we dedicate tonight's service to the memory of each and every body donor. The staff and students of the South Australian universities, we're very grateful to have the opportunity this evening to say thank you for that trust and for the opportunities it affords us. Finally, to all of those whose loved ones have made this gift to us, I promise you that we will always respect and honour the responsibility that your family and loved ones have placed in us, and we remember them with deep gratitude. I know that our students recognise the supreme example set by the donors and their families and the contribution they've made. They realise, as we do, it's an extraordinary example of the gift of public spirit that we hope to nurture in tomorrow's healthcare professionals and researchers. So we thank you for joining us tonight as we pay tribute to their selfless gift to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kyle. Thank you. Our first guest speaker is Dr. Alastair Brown. Dr. Brown is a specialist anaesthetist in both the private and public sector. He works at all major private hospitals across Adelaide and is heavily involved in the teaching and training of trainee anaesthetists at the Royal Adelaide Hospital. He has particular expertise and experience in major trauma and orthopaedic surgery, robotic surgery, plastic surgery, and anaesthesia for day surgery. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Alastair Brown.
Thank you, Doug. Distinguished guests, colleagues, students, and most importantly, families and friends of donors. I'm honoured to have been invited to address and give my thanks here this evening at this very special occasion. I'm in awe of the generosity of individuals and families who, through donating their remains to the university, provide the gift of a special learning opportunity. I'm an anaesthetist, a medical specialist who looks after people before, during and after surgery. The specialty of anaesthesia has evolved and progressed over the last few decades, largely as a result of two things. Firstly, technological advance in surgery, and secondly, the increasing age and subsequent medical complexity of patients presenting for surgery. In light of this, my field has adapted, improved, and broadened the ways in which we care for patients. One such way that has improved greatly is the advent and refinement of regional anaesthesia, or nerve block anaesthesia. This is the type of anaesthesia where, for example, only your arm will be put to sleep and minimises the impact of surgery and anaesthesia on the rest of the body. It is in this field of regional anaesthesia that the collaboration between the Department of Anaesthesia at the Royal Adelaide Hospital and the Ray Last Laboratory at the University of Adelaide has been able to develop and deliver the Regional Anaesthesia Workshop, of which I am convener. The Regional Anaesthesia Workshop was established by my mentor and colleague, the late Dr. Piers Robertson, almost 20 years ago, and has helped anaesthetists at all stages of their specialist training learn, hone, and become experts in the field of regional anaesthesia. This workshop has featured as part of national and international meetings with anaesthetists from across South Australia, and the world having attended. The workshop provides the highest fidelity training experience for clinicians in a first-class facility, and as such is a teaching experience that translates directly to practical application in clinical practice. I've also witnessed with my own eyes how the staff of the Ray Last Laboratory demonstrate the utmost care and respect toward maintaining the dignity that is deserved throughout the entire process of preparing and delivering the workshop. As a result of this collaboration between the hospital, the university, the donors and their families, countless numbers of patients locally and beyond have benefited from the skills acquired at our workshops, and countless more will benefit as we go into the future. More recently, regional anaesthesia has risen to the fore as a go-to technique during the current COVID-19 pandemic. This is because by applying a regional anaesthesia technique, the need for intubation of the airway, an extremely high-risk procedure for staff to be exposed to COVID-19, can be avoided. This means that workshops like ours here in Adelaide have never been more important, as we now know that not only are there benefits to our patients, but also to the welfare of our frontline healthcare workers and the community as a whole. All of which I've just spoken about starts with the ability to teach and learn the skills which would not be possible without the Ray Last Laboratory and the body donation program that we're honouring here tonight. This evening, we are all here to honour, celebrate and acknowledge the tremendous contribution of our loved ones that our loved ones have made to maintain education and research. This gift of themselves means that they continue to make an invaluable contribution to others, even after their physical passing, and as such shows extraordinary and quite unique generosity. And for that, I'm eternally thankful. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Thank you. I'd now like to call up to the stage 4 students. There's 3 of the 4 here tonight. The 4th of those students will be on the screen shortly. But some of the students are past, some present, but all representing the 3 South Australian universities. They'll be sharing their thoughts with you on the body donation program and the impact that these amazing donors have had on their education. Please welcome Sylvie Patel from Uni SA, Portia Joyce Tubb and Andrew Chan from the University of Adelaide, and Victoria Tang from Flinders University. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the donors' family and friends, academic and professional staff, and current students. My name is Sylvie Patel, and I'm a third-year student studying Bachelor of Physiotherapy with Honours at the University of South Australia. I feel privileged to be standing here on behalf of all the students to express my appreciation and gratitude towards the donors for their selfless act in donating their body to science. It takes courage to give away the only thing that is truly yours, and not everyone has the courage to do such noble acts. I would also like to sincerely thank the donors' families and friends who have supported this decision of their loved ones. Human anatomy involves a comprehensive study of the anatomical structure and function of the human body. It has been one of the most crucial courses of my studies into becoming a physiotherapist. I am certain that human anatomy has also been imperative in other degrees within the health and medical professionalism. I emphasize this point because it is the exposure to the real-life body form that has developed my knowledge and understanding in human anatomy. It can become difficult for a student to understand complex concepts such as the intricate composition of the human body without practical exposures. Although the anatomy classes provide a wide range of resources such as educational videos, textbooks, diagrams, and 3D models of anatomical structures, it is the real-life body form that has been a significant element of my learning. It has allowed me to comprehend theory into practice and further develop my curiosity about the science of the human body. In my first year of study, I received an opportunity to teach anatomy to students as a peer tutor while studying. It is due to the body donors, the anatomy staff, and the program that I have been able to pass on my theoretical and practical knowledge to other students. I believe that students who are exposed to the real-life human forms, including myself, are very fortunate and privileged, as such opportunities are not available in many parts of the world. It is due to these donations that thousands of students have been able to gain real-life experience and build on their knowledge and understanding that is required into becoming a qualified health professional. The study and examination of the real-life human body will remain one of the powerful learning tools for health and medical students, despite the advances we see in these respective disciplines. Hence, I would like to tell all the current students here to build curiosity, explore, analyze, and gain all the skills and knowledge you can from the real-life human form. With gratitude, I would like to wholeheartedly thank once again the donors, their families, and friends for this invaluable gift that has inspired and benefited many. I would like to end with a quote by an anonymous who states, "Your greatness is not what you have, it's what you give." Thank you.
Family and friends of those whom we are here to pay our respects to today, academic staff, distinguished guests, and future healthcare professionals. My name is Portia Joyce Tubb, and only 6 years ago, I was sitting in this hall as a first-year medical student attending this service. Now I am completing my internship at the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to express my gratitude for this gift and to share how it impacted my studies. Sitting in this hall during my first week of medical school was a profound experience. At a time when I felt very overwhelmed by information ranging from assessments to timetables, this service emerged as a standalone experience. It provided perspective and reminded me of what I was here to accomplish, to study not just health, but people. I remember feeling overcome and confronted by the magnitude of your loved one's selfless act. I left with a newfound understanding of the privilege of learning from them and a sense of responsibility. A responsibility to ensure that I learned everything I could and never forgot the significance of this opportunity. Their gift meant my modes of learning anatomy were greatly expanded. Learning was not just from textbooks, lectures, or tutorials. I was able to apply my knowledge, learning how unique the human body is in person, how people vary in their structure, akin to how they vary in their function, their personality. From people who had led rich and interesting lives, every week I was able to tangibly learn how the lungs fit perfectly into the rib cage and how nerves innervated muscle. I was taught not just by professors, but by your loved ones, and this was a privilege. This marked the intersection between the art and the science of medicine. We recognise today that this gift is underpinned by your loved one's selfless decision. For those of us benefiting from this donation, we never know what motivated this gift. We do, however, know the long-lasting influence that this has had on the way we learn anatomy. The breadth and impact is enduring and sustained in the way we practice our vocations in the community, a phenomenal legacy. The enormity of this decision cannot be underestimated. The understanding I gained from learning anatomy in person was immense and only made possible by their generosity. On behalf of the past and present medical students at the University of Adelaide, I thank you for this gift.
Good evening, family, friends, and donors, staff members, and students. I'm Andrew, a third-year dental student studying at Adelaide University, and it is my honour and privilege to be speaking here today on behalf of the dentistry cohort to express my heartfelt gratitude to the donors and their loved ones, and share some of the lessons your loved ones have passed on. Your loved ones were our teachers. They helped us to make sense of the unknown and translate our theoretical concepts into practical knowledge with real-life applications. As the most accurate reference, they guided us to explore missing links in our understanding and guided us to learn how interconnected the human body is. They were teachers who turned our attention towards the holistic nature of dentistry. In the same way oral health has systemic implications, dentistry extends beyond the mouth. They helped us to appreciate that what we do in the mouth can have consequences for the rest of the body. Each donor is unique in their own respect. Each an invaluable opportunity to inquire and to discuss, to grow and to learn. A meaningful reminder to the aspiring dentist to appreciate these variations and to understand why the same procedure might be more effective in one patient than another, and why procedures need to be tailored to our patients. This was particularly insightful in preparing us for local anesthetic injections. As an almost common practice, this seemingly quick procedure requires a precise understanding of nerves supplying the teeth and gums and their potential for variation. Your loved ones helped us to navigate around this complexity, improving our troubleshooting skills and making our dentistry safer and more pain-free. Above all, your loved ones were all people who had once lived, individuals with their own livelihoods and stories to tell. They were people who made the ultimate sacrifice to selflessly donate themselves to educate us and teach the future, people fully deserving of our respect. Although no longer with us, the altruism and generosity lives on, as they have made an irreplaceable contribution to our education and our development as professionals. It has been our humbling responsibility to make the most of this opportunity, and to better understand and provide for our patients in our community. It is only by learning that we can begin to know what we don't know. This experience opened our eyes to how much more there is to learn, much more than we could possibly read from any textbook or lecture. This experience filled the gaps in our knowledge and awakened a desire to learn more about how complex our bodies are, learn more about how to better treat patients, and learn more about how to help people. After all, how could we as students and academics hesitate to learn when we have the most earnest teachers guiding us? I can say with certainty that because of their gift, we know leaps and bounds more than we would without them, and that has made us better people and practitioners. I would once again like to express my gratitude to the donors and their loved ones. We are grateful to have received so much from just a small piece of their everlasting legacy. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victoria Tang, and I'm currently studying in my penultimate year of the Doctor of Medicine at Flinders University. I speak on behalf of my fellow medical student colleagues, as well as the many staff and students across Flinders, across a wide range of health disciplines who are involved with the anatomy program in South Australia. Firstly, I'd like to offer my greatest condolences to the donor families and friends. We must not forget that every donation ultimately is a loss of a person to their loved ones. Thank you for having the strength to participate today in what must be a difficult time of reminiscence. Thank you for supporting your loved one to make this decision. When we pass on, we all hope to leave a legacy, a gift to the world that we depart, something that we can all be remembered by. I'm sure that many of you remember your loved ones through the stories that they used to tell again and again, the laughter that they brought, the joy and tears that you shared together, and the things that they did for you, the flowers she used to grow in her front garden that she watered religiously, and the grand speech that he gave on your wedding day all those years ago. But when your loved one passed on, they also left the gift of their body, the very vehicle that carried them through life, their most private and valuable mortal possession. And we as students, we as complete strangers to your loved ones, are the humble beneficiaries of that sacrifice. Today, I want to tell you so much about your loved one and how they have guided me, how they have built me, and how they have taught me. Our body donors, that is your family members and your friends, have become greater educators than any single textbook or lecture could ever be. Every person and every cadaver that we meet is different. Their hands, their face, their entire person. Each time we meet your loved ones, we wonder what kind of person this was. What prompted them to get the tattoo on their right shoulder? What caused that scar that runs from their left knee down to their left ankle? And as we look deeper, the body makes us think. It poses many questions and challenges our very understanding of health and illness. And indeed, the answer to many of these questions can be found within the same very body, just waiting to be discovered. I cannot begin to explain how much of a privilege it is to be able to be taught these lessons by your loved one. Your loved ones teach us about how it all comes together, how people live, how real people live, how their bodies allow them to do the things that they love to do, and how hopefully one day my colleagues and I can help when our bodies stop allowing us to do the things that we love to do. Your loved one continues to be my mentor, my teacher, and my guide. So to our donors, to have gained insight from you, to have understood the world more because of you, and to treat patients better because of you, we hope that you would be proud of us if you could be here today, as your sacrifice has not been in vain. Even now, each time I place my hands on a patient's abdomen to feel their liver, I will think of your loved one. I will know exactly where to place my hands, and how deep I should be feeling. I will know what I am feeling for and why it is there, thanks to your loved one. Each time I place my stethoscope on a patient's chest, I will think about where the heart should lay. I will think about your loved one's heart, the way that it once beat, and the people that it once beat for. In every patient that we go on to see and treat, we will think back to them. And every time we go on to treat a patient, to alleviate a patient's suffering, to one day heal them of disease, that is in part thanks to the gift that your loved ones gave. I'm of the belief that it is our duty as future clinicians to ensure that this one single decision that your loved one has made will continue every day to bring good into this world. And I, along with my fellow students and colleagues, am humbled to carry that responsibility, not only for the greater health of our community, but to do your loved ones proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria, Andrew, Portia and Sylvie. And to all of our speakers this evening, we say thank you. I think it'd be appropriate for us to put our hands together to thank our speakers. Thank you. It's now my honour to deliver this year's Act of Recognition on behalf of the 3 South Australian universities, and in particular the staff and students of the University of Adelaide's Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences. I hereby express formally in this act of recognition our gratitude for the gifts of human bodies and our respect for those who have generously bequeathed their mortal remains so that we may study, learn and understand. We recognise that there is something most special about the material that we handle and study. Each of these gifts represents a person with a history of growth from childhood, of a rich and varied life story, of health and illness, of joy and sadness, of human relationships, of intellectual and spiritual achievement. Memories live on in those who have joined us in this celebration today, and in particular, those watching online. I now ask that we pause for 1 minute in a small act of respect, remembrance, and gratitude. Thank you. The University of Adelaide have compiled a recording to thank our many donors and their families. Please watch the screen as the staff and students thank their generous contribution to medical research.
For 135 years, South Australians have generously supported our body donation program. Today, we say thank you and pay tribute to the gift your loved ones have made to help us teach and inspire the next generation of health and medical professionals.
Because of you, I know that the training I am fortunate enough to experience will continue to motivate my lifelong pursuit of learning and discovery.
Thanks to you, our courses in South Australia are providing better outcomes for our patients because they are teaching our surgeons more knowledge, more skills for our patients and improving the patient outcomes.
Your generosity has made me more compassionate for humanity as I acknowledge and thank you for the privilege my fellow students and I have been given.
Thank you for helping us to prepare the next generation of medical practitioners, scientists and researchers to excel in their profession and be truly equipped to help others.
Thank you for being a part of something bigger than you and me. Thank you for your gift that will change countless lives.
On behalf of the University of Adelaide, University of South Australia and Flinders University, we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that almost brings to an end our time here, the official proceedings of this evening's service. In a moment, I'm going to invite staff and students here with us today to come up and place their carnation in front of the plaque down here on the table, in memory of the donors and their selfless act for the benefit of future health industry research. To close out our service for this evening, I'm going to welcome back on stage Liesl Warner, who will play the harp. Please take instructions from our staff here as you come forward, and I think we're going to be leaving through the door there at the side. That's right, over near where the camera is at the moment. So we'll come forward just row by row. I think that's the way to do it. We'll remain seated and then just row by row, and just place your carnations here on the table up front. But thank you so much and good evening.